Clara Thompson's life was stitched into the fabric of Chicago's South Side, where the wind off Lake Michigan carried the scent of deep dish pizza, diesel fumes, and the faint promise of spring, even in October's chill. At 62, Clara was a widow with silver-streaked hair tied in a practical bun. Her nurse's scrubs faded from years of 12-hour shifts at Mercy Hospital in Englewood. Her hands, roughened by years of inserting IVs and wiping fevered brows, had held more lives than she could count: patients, neighbors, her late husband, Marcus, and their daughter, Emily. But it was Marcus's absence that haunted her most. A void left when his heart gave out 5 years ago, sudden as a summer storm. He'd left her their modest bungalow on West 64th Street. A garden that bloomed defiantly against the urban grit. And his true pride, a collection of 6 vintage cars, gleaming relics of American muscle tucked in a rented garage on the city's edge. The cars weren't just chrome and steel. They were Marcus's soul. A 1967 Ford Mustang, restored during his chemo treatments, its red paint a defiant middle finger to cancer. A 1955 Chevy Bel Air, sky blue, the car that carried them to their honeymoon in the Wisconsin Dells. A 1970 Dodge Charger, a 1963 Corvette, a 1959 Cadillac Eldorado, and a 1966 Pontiac GTO, each with a story, each a piece of Marcus's heart. Every Sunday after church, Clara drove to the garage, armed with a rag and a thermos of coffee, to polish the hoods and whisper memories to the air. It was her sanctuary, a place where Marcus still lived. Emily, their only child, was 28, living in a sleek condo in the Loop with a view of the Chicago River. A marketing whiz. She'd climbed the corporate ladder with a fierceness Clara admired but didn't always understand. Emily had Marcus's quick wit and Clara's stubborn streak, but lately, she'd been a stranger. Engaged to Alex Rivera, a tech entrepreneur with a startup called Urban Pulse, Emily was swept up in a world of rooftop bars and designer labels. Alex was all charm-tailored suits, a megawatt smile, and a knack for making Emily laugh in a way Clara hadn't seen since she was a girl. But Clara's gut twisted when he spoke. His eyes were too sharp, his promises too polished, like a used car salesman peddling dreams. The first cracks appeared subtly, like frost on a windshield. Emily's calls dwindled. Her visits to the bungalow became perfunctory, always with Alex in tow. Over Clara's homemade lasagna one humid August evening, Alex's gaze lingered on the mantel, where a framed photo showed Marcus beaming beside the Mustang. "Mrs. T, those cars must be worth a fortune now," he said, swirling his wine. "Ever think of selling? Emily and I could use the cash for the wedding war. My app, Urban Pulse, is about to go big." Clara's fork paused mid-air. "They're not for sale, Alex. They're Marcus's." Emily sighed, pushing her plate away. "Mom, come on. Dad's gone. Those cars just sit there. You could live a little, maybe, take a cruise or something." Clara forced a smile, her heart sinking. "I live just fine, honey." That night, alone in her bed, Clara stared at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, missing Marcus's warmth beside her. She'd raised Emily alone after his death, juggling hospital shifts and PTA meetings, selling her own jewelry to cover Emily's college tuition at DePaul. She'd never complained, never faltered. But now, doubt crept in. Was Emily ashamed of her? Of the bungalow's peeling paint, the cracked linoleum? Clara pushed the thought away, focusing on her next shift. Lives depended on her patience, not regrets. October 2025 arrived, crisp and golden. Clara took a rare day off to visit the garage, her ritual to keep Marcus close. She unlocked the heavy doors, expecting the familiar gleam of chrome. Instead, she found nothing. Empty stalls, cold concrete, the air heavy with absence. Her knees buckled. She gripped the doorframe, heart hammering. She dialed the storage manager, her voice steady despite the panic clawing her chest. "Ma'am, your daughter and her fiancé handled it last week," the manager said, voice tinny through the phone. "Said you approved. Sold the whole collection to a collector in Indiana. Wired $250,000 to an account." Clara's breath caught. "Whose account?" "Emily Thompson and Alex Rivera. Joint transfer." The world tilted. Clara drove home, the Chicago skyline blurring through unshed tears. In her kitchen, she checked her bank app, her personal savings untouched. But the joint account she'd set up with Emily for emergencies was drained. Zero balance. Transfers in chunks over months, labeled investment or consulting fees. Then, the final blow, Emily's Instagram. Photos of her and Alex in a penthouse, clinking champagne flutes, Chicago's lights glittering behind them. Caption: "Living our best life. Big things ahead." A comment from Alex: "To new beginnings, babe. Thanks for the jumpstart," with a money bag emoji. Clara's hands trembled, not from age but from a betrayal that cut deeper than any scalpel. Her daughter, her flesh and blood, had sold Marcus's legacy, her security, for a life Clara didn't recognize. She didn't call Emily, didn't scream or cry. She brewed chamomile tea, sat at the scarred oak table, and let the pain crystallize into something sharper: resolve. Marcus's voice echoed in her mind. "You're tougher than steel, Clara. Don't ever forget it." By evening, she had a plan, not revenge, but justice. She wouldn't confront Emily yet. She'd dig deeper, use the tools at her disposal. At her next shift at Mercy Hospital, she confided in Dr. Juan Ramirez, a cardiologist who'd fought to save Marcus years ago. Over lukewarm coffee in the break room, she spilled the story, her voice low. "Emily's fiancé, Alex, ... I think he's trouble. His startup smells like a scam." Ramirez adjusted his glasses, his face grim. "Tech startups are a dime a dozen in Chicago, but some are just shells. My brother-in-law's at the SEC, I'll ask him to poke around quietly." Lena Washington, the hospital's social worker, overheard and leaned in. "If it's fraud, I've got contacts at a whistleblower hotline. And you should talk to Jamal. He's got a nose for dirt." Jamal Carter, the security guard with 20 years as a Chicago cop, was already in the loop by nightfall. In the hospital's security office, surrounded by flickering monitors, he handed Clara a thin folder. "Alex Rivera, real name Alejandro Ruiz. Changed it for branding. Runs Urban Pulse, but it's smoke and mirrors. Multiple LLCs, all shells. He's been fleecing investors with fake demos. Priors for embezzlement in Miami, pled down to probation. And those cars? Sold to fund his expansion, but the money's funneled offshore." Clara flipped through the folder. Bank statements, emails, a lawsuit from a burned investor. Alex had roped Emily in, using her as a co-signer on loans, forging documents to make her liable. "Why Emily?" Clara whispered, her throat tight. Jamal shrugged. "She's his shield. Makes him look legit." "But Clara, this is IRS level bad. Maybe FBI." Clara's nights became a second shift. By day, she was Nurse Thompson come, in the chaos of the ER soothing patients with cracked ribs or diabetic comas. By night, she was a detective in her own life, using the hospital's secure Wi-Fi to trawl public records. She found complaints against Urban Pulse on the Better Business Bureau, shady filings with the Illinois Secretary of State, a patient, Mr. Kowalski, a retired accountant recovering from pneumonia, recognized Alex's name. That punk pitched me his app. Lost 10 grand. You got dirt on him, Clara. Bury him. Asterisk, if you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for weekly health tips to help you stay active, sharp, and youthful, because aging healthy starts with small, smart choices. She didn't want to bury, not yet. She wanted proof, airtight and undeniable. Over weeks, she built a dossier, transaction logs from the car sale, linked to Alex's offshore accounts, emails where he bragged about flipping classics for quick cash, a voicemail from Emily, saved on Clara's old phone, gushing about our new start. Clara's heart broke anew with each piece, but she didn't falter. She mailed anonymous packets to the Chicago FBI field office and the Illinois Attorney General, labeled Elder, Financial Abuse and Fraud. No signature, just evidence. Winter descended on Chicago, snow piling on the streets like grief. Clara watched from a distance as Emily's calls grew frantic. Mom, something's wrong. Investors are bailing on Alex. He says it's a glitch, but I'm scared. Clara kept her voice warm, neutral. It'll work out, honey. Focus on your wedding. Inside, she felt the gears turning, the net tightening. The unraveling came in January 2026, swift and public. The Chicago Tribune broke the story. Tech entrepreneur busted in Ponzi-like scheme. Alex's face was plastered across newsstands, handcuffed outside his Loop office. The article detailed how Urban Pulse was a facade, defrauding investors of $3 million, with the car sale proceeds as collateral for a fraudulent loan. Authorities froze his accounts, seized assets, and recovered $180,000. From the car deal after legal wrangling, Emily's world collapsed. She fled the condo, now under a lien, and appeared at Clara's door on a sleety night. Mascara streaked, dragging a suitcase. Mom, it's all gone. Alex lied about the app, the money, US. I thought we were building something real. Her voice broke, a child's sob in a woman's body. Clara wrapped her in a quilt, guiding her to the couch by the fireplace. No accusations, just tea and silence, until Emily spoke again. I sold Dad's cars. Alex said it was an investment, that we'd pay you back, triple. I believed him because I wanted more than this house, this life. I'm so sorry, Mom. Clara held her, memories of Emily's toddler tantrums and teenage triumphs flooding back. Why didn't you talk to me, Em? Alex said, you were stuck in the past, that you'd hold me back. I was stupid, Mom. I lost Dad's legacy. I lost you. Clara shook her head. You didn't lose me. But you hurt me. And we need to fix it together. She revealed her role, not with triumph, but honesty. I tipped off the authorities. Not to punish you, but to stop him. To save us both. Emily's tears fell harder, but she nodded. I deserve it. I signed things I shouldn't have. He used me, and I let him. Over coffee at dawn, they laid at bare Emily's blind trust. Alex's manipulation, the forged signatures making her liable for his debts. She'd cooperated with investigators, clearing her name but not her guilt. The recovered $180,000 sat in escrow, a lifeline Clara could have claimed. Instead, she proposed something bigger. Let's turn this into something good, she said, sunlight glinting off fresh snow. A community health clinic, here in Ang. Free care for folks who can't afford it. Your dad's money, his legacy, helping people. Emily's eyes widened. You'd do that? After what I did? It's not about blame anymore. It's about purpose. Marcus would want that. Emily quit her marketing job, channeling her skills into fundraising. Clara tapped hospital connections. Dr. Ramirez rallied volunteer doctors. Lena secured grants. Jamal handled security logistics. They leased a vacant storefront on 63rd Street, once a pawnshop littered with broken dreams. Renovations began. Walls painted a hopeful blue. Exam rooms fitted with donated equipment. A sign reading Marcus Thompson Community Health Center. Challenges piled up like Chicago's permits stalled at City Hall. Skeptics called it a pipe dream. A local gang tagged the building, testing their resolve. But Clara and Emily fought on, side by side. Late nights over blueprints, Emily confessed how Alex had isolated her, whispering lies about Clara's small life. Clara shared stories of Marcus, his laugh, his stubborn love for underdogs. He taught me to keep going, Clara said. You're teaching me to forgive. Spring 2026 brought opening day. Cherry blossoms bloomed along Halsted Street, defying the concrete. The ribbon cutting drew a crowd. Aldermen, neighbors, even Mr. Kowalski, now healthy and handing out flyers. Patients flooded in, elders with untreated hypertension, kids needing shots, families hit by layoffs. Emily worked the front desk, her engagement ring gone, replaced by a clipboard and a smile. Clara oversaw triage, her nurse's instincts sharp despite the fatigue in her bones. One evening, locking up, Emily hugged Clara tightly. I almost lost you. This clinic hits us, Mom. Our redemption. Clara's eyes stung, the garage's emptiness filled by something warmer. We found each other, Em. That's more than enough. Months later, Clara stood in her garden, pruning roses Marcus had planted. The clinic thrived, a beacon in Inglewood. Emily had moved back home, sleeping in her old room, now volunteering to teach health literacy to teens. Across the city, Alex faced trial, his charm useless in a courtroom. Clara didn't attend. She'd already won. She looked at the sky, where the L train rumbled past. We did good, Marcus, she whispered. Chicago's heartbeat pulsed on, and so did theirs. Card, stronger, redeemed.